Hey, I'm Brian Van.
I'm Max Van.
And today we're going to recap MotoAmerica SuperSport Round
6 at Laguna Seca in Monterey, California.
Okay, so Laguna Seca round is the second leg of our big Western journey, which began with my wife and I driving out, just the two of us, truck and trailer heading to the ridge. Max flew out with his girlfriend Lexi, our youngest daughter Sophia. We had a great race weekend. After that weekend, all three girls flew home. Max and I jumped in the truck, pulled the trailer down to Laguna, left the trailer in the secured lot, drove up to San Jose, park and fly home for about a weekish.
Yeah, something like that. And I'm going to say one thing. California's pretty weird. You know, you got some beautiful mountains and shit. It's maybe 80, 90
Everything's
degrees.
dry.
And then you drive down a little bit, and then it's like 110. And then you go a little bit farther. You get down to like, Laguna Seca at 67. So California, figure your shit out. It's pretty bipolar.
But it is beautiful, and it looks
cool.
like it's one cigarette butt away from burning down completely, which we'll talk about a little bit later on in this video. So racing, especially at this level, it's a cumulative experience. We're not in a position because he works here full time. You're probably one of the only people that's finishing where you're finishing that works full time.
And I'm 18 years old.
And you're 18 years old. So he's gotten to practice 2 weekends this year. So you've ridden the 6 MotoAmerica rounds and 2 track day weekends. That's the riding that you've got. Yep. And what we want to see is every time he goes out, we want to see him move forward.
And learn something new.
100%. And sometimes you're going to see that in the results that he gets. Mm-hmm. And other times you're not going to see it in the results, but it's going to happen behind the scenes and allow us to move forward. And that's kind of what we experienced at Laguna. Before we go too much farther, it's very important that we acknowledge the people that helped us get here and stay here. Thank you to Fahad Khan at Precision Track Days, a great track day organization ride with Two Wheel Dyno Works, my friend Nate Phipps and Nels. You want to get your bike ECU tuned, you mail it to those guys, boom.
Hell yeah.
Spiegler brake lines, M4 exhaust, Hot Bodies Racing, Detroit Custom Paint, CD Boots, RST, Racer Gloves, shameless plug there.
I know, you said a lot of stuff,
Tech
man.
Spec.
I'm trying to think about what he's forgetting.
REB Graphics.
Did you say Vortex Racing and
Vortex
SBS
Racing.
brake pads? Yeah. SBS brake pads helped me stop this 130 horsepower machine, I think.
Ish, whatever it is.
Whatever.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And thanks to my dad for working his ass off.
You're welcome.
Hell yeah, and all my team members were good.
We have a great team. Very proud to have all those friends and family there helping us out.
All of our badass
100%.
Sportbike track gear customers. Tom behind the camera looking all pretty right now.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's dive into Laguna. Okay. That's going to be the round where on the surface you look at the results, you're like, where'd you qualify?
12th, I think.
How fast did you go?
128.2, I think.
It's pretty fast there.
I think the top dudes maybe did a low 27, I think, or maybe high 26. So maybe second and a half off.
We've got a little gap there to work on closing up. So reasonable qualifying. Okay.
Yep.
Race 1 on Saturday. Were you happy with your performance?
No.
Where'd you finish?
No. I finished 14th. I was riding with people who I was a lot faster than. I just didn't know how to pass. And it's kind of how it is. I'm just a little frustrated with myself, but.
And that's part of the process, dude.
You live, you learn.
So he came off track on Saturday. He was not super stoked with his performance. And what he's been struggling with is finding a way past people that are similar in pace.
Yeah.
Either a little bit slower or a little bit faster. It's definitely hard. Mm-hmm. Haven't done this too, not at your level, but having done this, those are the hardest passes to make, right? You get somebody that, that you're 2 seconds a lap faster than that, that's no problem. You just buzz them. That's easy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, completely.
You get somebody who is, you're 5/10 faster than.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got to find a way past. Mm-hmm. So after that race, we talked about it, and he was clearly unhappy. And I'm like, dude, even though I'm not sure I could do it, well, I know I can't do it at this level. I'm like, you just got to place the bike in the right spot and execute. Once you put the wheel where it needs to be, the corner is yours. These people are not going to run into you because guess what? They don't want to fall either.
Yeah.
Josh Hayes gave you some good advice.
Yeah, for sure. And even the thing with the 750 compared to the 400s, the frame's so beefy, it can handle like so much more brake pressure, and I'm still getting used to that. And I felt like starting to figure that out. But like that 400, man, if you got in there deep, it can tuck straight up and down, honestly. But the Gixxer can handle, again, a lot more brake pressure because of the forks, the frame, everything it's got.
It's all more rigid.
And I mean, the way you pass on the brakes on a freaking big bike is completely different than you pass on a 400, which I didn't know, but figuring it out and having fun.
Yeah, you're starting to figure it out. So we go out there on Sunday. Not your best race start of the year.
No, but I was able to make some passes. I passed the dudes who I was racing with earlier, which I was stoked about.
And you nipped them both like quick.
Like quick work. Made quick work of those guys.
Well, to be fair, they've made quick work of you a few times too. So you took a little
100%.
payback.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
And then I crashed in Rainy Curve on lap 2 of the race. How
did we crash?
I got in there a little too deep. I came down the corkscrew, nutted that thing, ran down there, got on the brakes, and since I carried so much more speed than I usually do, getting back to maintenance throttle, I didn't get back to it early enough because I was carrying a lot more speed than, again, I usually would on my normal lap. And yeah, just tucked the front, no big deal. But my racer gloves, plug.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, RST suit, and CD boots.
Yeah, the bike wasn't really that bad.
Kept me safe, and we were good.
I didn't fix it there. I took it home, but
yeah,
it was a bodywork fairing stay. The subframe was damaged. It was bent. I straightened it on the bike, but it was shabby enough that I didn't want to reuse it. So I ended up replacing that. But it was a pretty basic crash. Little left side of the bike, no flipping, low side. The tank was rashed up from the gravel. They got some gnarly gravel at Laguna. But it wasn't dented or anything, so we could have that repaired by our guys at Detroit Custom Paint.
Hell yeah.
At some point. So, in the end, that round, I drove home. I had to drive home alone because I needed him to fly back and get back to work in the shop to minimize missed time. He's pretty important here at this point. Yeah. I drove home feeling pretty good about it. And even after the race, like when you came off, you were good, dude. You were like, this is what I did wrong. Yeah. But I did these other things really right that I was having a really hard time with. And you felt good about that. Yeah. And that was refreshing to see. The bummer part was you had to wait 4 weeks. Yeah, there's that. I had to wait 4 weeks, and also I had to sit there for the whole race in Rainy Curve. But I had isn't that where you took your fucking helmet off too, didn't you? I did take my helmet off, but who ripped your ass? Our buddy, come on. Michael Martin. Yeah, but it's okay, man. Michael Martin. It's okay. The corner workers didn't have a helmet on. What's up with that? No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, rules are rules, bro. Rules are rules. I was able to watch. He let you off pretty easy because you were quick to apologize. Of course, yeah. Now I know. But yeah, it was cool to see PJ on the last lap absolutely stuffed the piss out of Matthew Skoltz going into turn 10. PJ, if you're watching this, you're probably not. It was a fucking badass pass. But yeah. And then Aiden Sneed rode me into the pits after that. Thanks, Aiden. Little taxi service. Yeah. And, in the series this year, too, with all these guys that came into it, and I love it, just elevates it. Watching Matthew and PJ race this year. No, it's a whole nother level. It's so badass. Getting passed by those dudes, especially Matthew. He's so big on the bike. It's pretty cool. It's unique. Yeah, no, I mean, they're riding great, and they're putting on a hell of a show. And in the end, that's really what you want. It's elevated the entire class, right, to where you still look at your lap times now. You rewind 1 year, you're finishing like 5-6 spots further ahead. Yeah. But what I think's happening now is this is just making you that much better of a rider, which ultimately that's the goal, right, is to take your skill set as far as it can possibly go. Yeah. And the best way to do that is compete with people who are better than you and know a lot more. 100%. And that is what we are doing right now. So there you have it. Thanks for your support. Thanks for watching. Oh, and on the way home, I got to see some things. One of the things I saw, driving out of California, right, and I see this big plume of smoke off in the distance. It's kind of dusk, and I'm like, or somebody's burning something in the field. And I keep getting closer, and it just keeps getting bigger, and then it's dark, and then it's very clear. It's a wildfire line. I forget which freeway it was on. The computer tells me where to go, and I go there. And I pull into this Flying J, right? There's this little town here, and the wind is probably 20 miles an hour. One of the Bryce Prince racing dudes was there too, and he was going to camp down the road. He's like, fuck that, I'm getting out of here, bro. I think we were probably half a mile-ish away from this wildfire. I go into the Flying J after I pump. They're talking about evacuating. There's no way you're putting that out. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen. I've never seen so many fire trucks. Yeah, send me some photos. It was pretty unique. Oh, it's unbelievable. And the wind was so gnarly, like, all you can do is maybe try and slow it down. Living in the Mighty Mitten is a good decision.
Yep. Yeah,
That's when I drove away from there, I'm like, the Mighty Mitten is the place to be.
Yes, it is.
Until next time.